Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, now that I got the sponsored request for the month out of the way, I'm going to get back to trying to catch up on a lot of the things that we missed. I'm still at videos that came out towards the end of October, so we got a lot of stuff coming once I can get to it. And of course, I've missed things since I've been back that because I'm so far behind, I haven't got to those either, so... the good fight continues, my friends. So right now we're here for Itzy, Imaginary Friend. We did react to their title, Gold, when it dropped before I left. We've got Stacy coming up, VBG, XG, Kepler, Baby Monster, TXT, In-Hyphen, Stray Kids. We got a whole bunch of stuff that I missed, so let's work on it. Let's head over and check out Itzy with Imaginary Friend. Now, I do have a friend, he goes by the username Tomahawk on here, and he said that this is arguably a song of the year. So it's high praise. Looking forward to it. What's wrong with your hand, Leah? Oh, they all have it. It's like they've been in a fight or they've... Ooh. Nice group choreo here. Interesting instrumental. Looking gorgeous there. Gorgeous. I love that vocal structure. Ooh, I like this. It's much softer and melodic than their typical single releases. This isn't a single, but you know what I mean, like things that they put out videos for. Nice little melodic flow there from Eugen. Beautiful chorus, man. I love this. Got the the heavy electronic instrument there, with the outro dance break, the crown pose. Oh man, this was good. Tomahawk, you were right. Oh, so good. I love that. This was, listen, I liked Gold, but this is way better than Gold. Which ironically, here's Gold right down here in the corner. Okay, so I have a few thoughts on the song's meaning. Like, obviously, a lot of kids growing up, we have imaginary friends. I had one. I'm sure you guys have one. Some of you probably still have one. Um, Actually, a lot of times when I was growing up, not only did I have imaginary friends, but then my stuffed animals became also less than imaginary, but still imaginary friends. The reason I say less than imaginary is because at least there's something there, right? It's a concrete object. And most kids go through that stage. Now, if you don't grow out of that stage, it might be a little bit of a psychological problem, but regardless, we're moving on past that. But this implies that there's an imaginary friend or potentially a guardian angel, right? If you're religious, who is there protecting you. But it's not so clear cut because the imaginary friend here isn't necessarily a good entity. It could be taken as monstrous / demonic or angel. Or it could just be like a just genuine imaginary friend, but the video is making me think certain things. Now, I'm going to point out different lyrics and things in the video that make me say what I'm saying in case you're wondering. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reaching. But it's just things that I notice and that I, incorporate into my own interpretation of the video. So let's go back and watch this one again. And also, again, beautiful song. I love this. Okay. All right, so they're all starting off like they've been bullied or they've been in a fight. And actually, it's almost like they are the ones who delivered the punishment. Because you notice, at least here in the early going, Leah turns around, no wounds on her face. Ryujin, no wounds there. She's staring at herself in the mirror like, who am I? Or, what did this? Yuna, no other wounds other than the punch. Or what might have been a punch. Chaeryeong, same thing. Yeji, same thing. So they've all... Yeah, and it's like they are... Like their skin burns when ice touches it. So a good entity wouldn't have that. But also, of course, traditional fallen angels or demons or whatever you want to call them wouldn't burn just because ice is touching them either. So it's not necessarily indicative of that. But it could also be a metaphor for like cooling of an intense passion or hatred. Anyway. Alright, so we have this really nice, intricate group choreo here at the beginning. And I didn't notice it until the end. We have this same exact pose at the end, right here, where Leah's there and all the members are covering her eyes. Now remember, I don't know why I said remember, but there's a very popular phrase, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. And sometimes horror movies will use that, but it's supposed to mean, something of purity, right? Like, I'm going to block out the evil I'm not going to look at things that are evil or bad or against my moral code, and I'm not going to speak violence, hatred, that kind of thing. Now, here, all of their eyes are closed, and they're covering Leah's eyes, so the see no evil. But again, I did mention sometimes horror movies use this for their horror character. I don't want to call it a demon, and I also don't want to call it a villain. It's not always necessarily a villain. But the point is, you could take this part as good or bad in terms of the imaginary friend, but also just in a more neutral standpoint, it's encouraging them to use their imagination, right? You can't see the imaginary friend, so their eyes are closed and they're seeing with their mind's eye. That's really cool. I love that choreo. Alright, so I was born inside your head, right? There's the imaginary friend. But what is this? This specific moth or butterfly, I'm pretty sure it's a moth, has a meaning. Because you see the eye, it's designed to be like, not camouflage. What do they call this in the nature world? Where it's like, it deters predators. I mean, it is technically camouflage, but it makes them look like something that the predator wouldn't want to attack. Yeah, anyway. So these eyes on the wings play that role. So there's a reason why this specific creature was chosen. Different shapes of your illusion. And then the imaginary friend, now it's a shadow. Now, traditionally in media, we think of shadows as evil entities or darkness entities, not necessarily evil. But you also get shadows because of the light, right? But in this case, maybe they're the light and the imaginary friend is the darkness. So maybe, you see in the cartoons a little angel and the devil on your shoulder. Maybe this imaginary friend is the devil on the shoulder. I don't know. But, I can be the dream you always had. Again, could go good or evil. With good, I can help you, I can support you, I can be your guardian angel that helps you get where you need to go and protect you from everything. Or in religious text, demons, especially like Satan, are famous for offering you the things that you want at the expense of taking your soul. Now, whether you could take this either way so far, but it's leaning towards more of the dark side for me, just because of the images that we're getting so far. Like, it was kind of creepy when the shadow kept moving after she left. We've got the shadow's hand creeping up on her shoulder here. And also this shot where she's in the mirror. It's like one of those infinity type of things where it's just reflecting back. And I was wondering if I had to go back to see if I missed it. I was wondering if perhaps when she turns around, like, the mirror is still looking, but it doesn't show it. But see, it doesn't have to be a darkness thing, because shadows are also imaginary. Well, shadows are real, but the entity contained within a shadow is imaginary. And this could be a comforting gesture too, of like reaching out and like I'm here for you. She doesn't look happy and reassured though. So I'm just saying, but it could be a good thing. Once you thought became a feeling. So like you imagined me into existence. I'm a creature, good or bad, of you. I came from what you thought and felt. But see, now they actually do have scars and wounds everywhere. It's not just the hand. So maybe this is they've been beaten up, or maybe it's a demonic entity taking over or punishing them. I think they deliberately leave this up to your interpretation, and you could take it either way you want. It seems less and less likely that it's an actual neutral party. It seems like this imaginary friend either does want their good or their downfall. All right, so who am I? Would you believe it? It's almost like this line right here almost makes you think, okay, they had the imaginary friend as a kid, and then they forgot them, right? So you forget your imaginary friends. Right now, if you're, above the age of like 12, you had an imaginary friend most likely, but you don't remember their name anymore. You don't remember things you did with your imaginary friend. But if the imaginary friend was a real entity, maybe they're feeling betrayed by the fact that you grew up and left them, and they're still here. Because this line, like, who am I, would you believe it? And then it leads into, like, I'm your imaginary friend. Coupled with this video, it almost seems like the imaginary friend is a jealous entity of sorts. I'm a fallen angel. So they're telling you right away, but that doesn't necessarily mean evil. Fallen angel just means not good. Like they've done something to fall from the heavenly graces. Usually it means evil, but it doesn't have to. Think of it in Star Wars terms. You hear the term fallen Jedi. It just means the Jedi is not fully towards the light anymore. Like they did creep towards the dark side, but it doesn't mean they're Sith. They haven't gone full blown dark side. So this fallen angel imaginary friend might just be, again, neutral, but dark leaning. So this part right here, again, remember I mentioned demons would be something that offers a pleasure, a vice, protection, happiness, whatever, in exchange for something else. It's a transactional thing. But a lot of times in literature and media, when we talk about demons or evil entities in general, it doesn't have to be a demon, monsters, if you will, it's usually one of those things where you call upon their name to summon them. But again, if you are the religious type, there are scriptures in the Bible that mention, call upon the name of the Lord. So, regardless of which side of the interpretation you're sitting on right now, it's all so fascinating. The way this is structured, the way this has been shot, the lyrics, all of this is just fantastic. Now she's like alone in a crowd of people. She's also the only one wearing black, which Could be because it isolates her against the rest, but that could have just as easily been done with the inverse colors. Like, they could have all worn black and she could have worn white, and she would have stuck out in the crowd in a more traditionally good way. You know, obviously we always think of good as being the white and evil as being black. So now what's also not quite clear is she or are they the imaginary friend who's been, you know, beaten up and scarred by the fact that they've been left, or are they the person who has the imaginary friend? I'm leaning towards the latter. I'm thinking they have the imaginary friend, but you never know. But now they're in the pure white with those pure vocals. Oh, I'm here to give you strength. See, the chorus makes you think it's a positive, like an actual angel, something looking out for their good. And then the imaginary friend it's like a wholesome thing here. It's you and I until the end, right? Like, you might have forgotten me, but I'm always here for you. But if you're leaning on this interpretation of this being a more dark leaning meaning song, then it's you and I until the end would be that transactional piece that I mentioned earlier, right? So this entity, this darkness, is saying, I'm gonna protect you. I'm gonna, you know, be there with you. If there's monsters on your ceiling, like, I got you. But I've got you. Like, it's you and I own you until the end of time, basically. So pick and choose which side you're on here. Are you for the good or are you for the bad? Well, I'm not even sure you would call it bad per se. But are you for the light or the dark? That's a better way of phrasing this. Let me know in the comments. Now we have the other side of that coin. We had the pure white, now we've got the pure black. With a dance break. Oh, we got 2 dance breaks in this song. I didn't even notice that. Also, right here, this scene, it looks like they're gonna mimic that see no evil part at the beginning. And, like, the closing of the eyes. But instead it ends up not doing that, but rather just having, like, the hands creeping in. So it's the evolution. Yeah, so the imaginary friend that was born inside your dream, born from your feelings, like, it's evolved, it's changed, it's grown in your, possibly in your absence, or at least with you, even though, like, it's been beside you this whole time. And that part of the choreo right there, again, makes me lean towards a darkness meaning. You've got, like, okay, so in choreography, this is usually just a mouth, right? Like, we see that motion in Dreamcatcher's boca. Boca meaning mouth in Spanish. But the way they do it, instead of something like this, like a small movement, they do it over the entire head, which choreographically tends to represent a monster. You also don't usually see this type of motion in anything that, you know, is goodness leaning. So the imaginary friend has evolved into this creature. So maybe the imaginary friend was good in the beginning, but now, like, I don't know. Trust me, I'm not a delusion. I'm everything you want to be. So, like, the imaginary friend evolved. They can help you get where you want to go because they're already there. Like, everything about you that you want to change, I can make that happen.
Come on and dance, dance, and don't stop. 작은 너의 lucky spark, 내게 힘이 될 거야. 너와 나 함께야. Can't
That
stop
was a
thinking.
cool shot right there, too. Like, they set this up to look like that, almost like that infinity mirror that we saw earlier. But then they step out from behind these props.
함께야. Can't stop thinking about our vibe. 이제야 we can rock.
There's that
And I'm
mirror
going
again.
to the top, yeah. Call out my name in the middle of the night. 왜 두려워 마. Call out my name, yeah. Call out my name.
Hold up. It's easy to get lost in this pre-chorus and chorus because, oh, it's gorgeous. But this right here, oh, I'm actually noticing something different on this. So originally, I thought this was a line, and I thought she was kind of like standing on the edge of the abyss. But it's actually more obvious than that. It's a tightrope over the abyss, and she's trying to walk the tightrope. I was going to say the narrow path, but that doesn't do it justice. And so, like, the line here is when you're afraid, call out my name. And this pit down here could be what she's afraid of. So, like, hey, when you're feeling alone and you're going through this really tough time, call on me and I'll help you across this tightrope. But it could be that she already has the power to walk this tightrope, and what's down here is if she gives in to calling out this imaginary friend's name. Like, that if you see no evil and you walk this line, great. But if you stumble and you fall, then you succumb to the darkness. So layers here. This right here too, all the choreo, especially in these dance scenes, when they're in this setting, is all like darkness centered. See, the backup dancers step out from behind them, acting as though they're the imaginary friend, and they've got that chokehold on them, almost like a possession. And they all have the backup dancer shadowing them in the back in this scene too. Really nice. I just caught this line too. I'll keep you safe, right? We talked about that, but I missed this part earlier. And I'll keep you dreaming. If you're on the light side of this interpretation, it means I'll protect your dreams. I'll protect your ability to dream instead of making the nightmares happen. But if you're on the darkness side of this interpretation, keeping you dreaming might mean keeping you thinking you can attain something that you really can't get to. Almost like a false promise. And then again here, it's like they've given in to that darkness. They've burned down whatever this was, and they're dressed in the all black. Wait, hold on, what was this? I thought those might be flowers over there. Like, right here under my mouse, if you can see that. Or I could be making that up, I can't tell. But I don't know what this building either is or is supposed to represent. Or another way you could take this, if you are leaning towards the light side of the interpretation, is that they're wearing black because they've kind of had to make their heart a little cold, and they've burned down the vestiges of what they think might be the dark entity of their imaginary friend. Then we get the second dance break here with the outro. And the crown pose with the imaginary friend / shadow dancers completing the crown for each of them rather than them doing the crowns as a whole. Got the birds chirping, and then you end on the see no evil / imagination pose. Oh man, not only was that a good song, that was a really good video that honestly I don't really think has a correct interpretation, but I'm curious what you guys thought. I know this video went a bit longer than most, but yeah, there was a lot to talk about in this one, at least to me. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. But shout out to the Patreon. Thank you guys for your support. We do have the Patreon. If you aren't familiar, there's a link in the description. There's content over there that I can't put here on the YouTube channel. For example, if you're a 50/50 fan, I just went to the concert here in LA and sat on the front row, so I recorded every song with obviously front row footage as a concert experience video. That's over there. The Twice Amazon Live concerts over there. There's going to be the Twice fan meet, amongst other things. Survival shows, whatever. It's all over there. Also, Patreons get access to prioritize requests that get sent to the top of the request queue every month. If you don't want the benefits of Patreon, but you do have a request that you want done anytime soon, there's a PayPal link down there that you can check out and sponsor a request that way. And then if you want to check out the request queue just to see what's on it and where your request might be on the list, the link to that is down there as well. Thanks for checking this one out. I'll see you for the next one. Take care, everyone.